to do a little pose just for the thumbnail. So, meeting is now streaming live on Facebook. I think you're lying, Zoom, because I can't see anything on my computer. So, we'll give it a minute or two. And I do declare, oh, I sound like a bird. I do declare we're live. Good morning, love sales, hate selling followers. I was going to say members then, but obviously that's for the group. I am joined today by the one and only Nick Watts, founder of Depict Creative. If it is important for your business to look good, this is the man to speak to. But Nick, before we start, we need to do a pose for Facebook. Facebook likes a pose. So your best pout, please, sir. And we'll make sure that we use that as a thumbnail. So after 3, 1, 2, 3.
There we go.
I hope no one from my family is watching that. Man, why are you putting that stupid face? What's wrong with you? You look like you want to go to the toilet. Yeah, that's my nan. Right, guys, let's get going. Thank you for joining us today. I do apologise I didn't do my little morning video. I have been on a meeting since 8 o'clock this morning. 8 o'clock this morning. Some of you weren't even awake then. And I then went straight into a network meeting and then straight with Nick. So I do apologise I didn't do my little thing on my personal page. So for those of you who missed it, I do apologise, but it will be returning next week. So Nick, let's get started, man. I know you're a busy guy. Loving your logo behind it. I'm assuming you've got one of those green screen things.
Well, no, I'm actually using the virtual background on Zoom at the moment. I do have a green screen, but one of the hooks fell down, so...
I can't get my virtual background to work. It keeps telling me my laptop isn't high enough quality.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, yeah. So I need a Mac. I'm not spending any money on the new computer. Anyway, let's get started. Nick, Mr. Watts, please tell everybody what you do for a business.
Mate, I think if I need to break that down, because if I was to explain to my mom what I do,
okay, is your mum watching?
Who knows? If I was to explain to my mom and dad what I do, it's I create nice pictures that go on the internet and stuff like that.
That's the kind of easy term.
Yeah, my brother thinks that I just spend all day on YouTube. Stuff like that. So
that's part of your research, though, surely.
Yeah. All day on YouTube and Facebook. But no, that's not what I do. I run a graphic design and marketing company in Wolverhampton, and yeah, so we make you look awesome.
Oh. Can you
in short?
Can you save this face?
It doesn't need saving.
Oh, bless you, man. I'll tell you what, I'm going to send you that money later on, my friends. So you do your graphic design, the #1 graphic design agency in Wolverhampton and surrounding. And what else do you do as well as the graphic design? Because obviously, we spoke about this before. I know you have many.
Yeah. So I've always been a traditional graphic designer, which is generally making stuff look good. But through experience, that skill set changes from branding through to advertising, or for both print and digital, and then into the interweb world. So websites, video,
wow,
stuff like that. Yeah, photography.
Yeah, because I've seen some of your photos that you did for a mutual friend of ours, and very impressed how you rebranded his whole business. It was like, is this the same guy? Because what he had previously was like prehistoric, and then you came along and went like the fairy godmother in Cinderella, and just changed the whole look. And you actually made him look younger as well, which was like, how did you manage to do that? Photoshop.
Yeah. So his because that was all about personal branding, and he wasn't really portraying.
No.
I knew this would happen. I knew it would. Off his phone.
Excellent.
Right,
hey, get him on the call, man. We'll do it like a presentation to him at the same time.
Yeah. Hold on.
Oh, it was like Doctor Who just disappeared into the background. Did you see that, guys? That was like magic. he just disappeared into the
Right,
background.
there we go. I'm back.
So what inspired you to start Depict Creative, Nick?
Right. Okay. So before I set up Depict, which actually this month we're 6 years old.
Woo!
I know. Happy birthday to us.
Happy birthday to you.
Yeah. So prior to setting this up, I was doing what I do for almost a decade, working for an agency, a full service agency over in Shrewsbury.
Oh, wow.
And that's where I cut my teeth.
Yeah.
It was a really cool team. I just got to the point where I thought I could do this for myself. I felt like I'd reached the ceiling of where I was going to get to. So I think we just bought a house. We just had a kid, and then I decided I was going to cut off all of my income and go and set up my own business.
A man after my own heart. So yeah, Braveheart. That's what you call.
Yeah,
so you're now called Braveheart because, I mean, that must have been a bloody big kind of decision. I mean, how did your wife kind of react to that news that you were going to just kick away X amount of thousands of pounds a year and do your own thing? What was her first initial thoughts?
I literally must have spent about 14 months building up the courage to take the leap and hand in my notice. So I must have spoken to her at length, and she was supportive. She was obviously confident that it could be done.
I like that.
So, but I didn't just hand in my notice and then walk out of the door and just twiddle my fingers. I had a bit of a plan, which was so I freelanced heavily for other agencies. In fact, I freelanced for the company I left.
Oh.
They kept me on. So I built up clients whilst I was freelancing for other people. And so at that point, I was working all the time, every hour that I had, because I needed to bridge the gap.
Yes, yeah. And were you able to charge a higher rate being a freelancer than obviously being an employee?
Yeah, at the time, it felt like I was billing I'd become a millionaire. And then, so then I had enough clients of my own to stop working for other people.
Fantastic, man. Brilliant. And the fact you've been around 6 years, mate, I mean, me and you both know the fail rate of most businesses is, if you're still around in 3 years, you've done well. Doesn't mean you've made any money, but you've just done well. And the fact that you've been around 6 years tells me that you're going to be around for another 60 years. Maybe not yourself. Maybe your kids will come through and carry on. Or maybe someone will come in and say, I'll have that, and just give you 6 figures, 7 figures, and say, I'm taking it off your hands, mate. Go and enjoy yourself in the Bahamas. But fantastic, mate. And what's nice as well is that you are in the Black Country. Yeah, I'm in Wolverhampton, which, historically, it's been a tough place for businesses to get, seen and found and recognition. And, all power to your elbow, mate. All power to your elbow.
Thanks.
Good stuff. So I'm assuming that you've had lots of challenges to overcome with the business. Give us a bit of a flavour of some of the challenges that you've had to deal with to kind of to get to where you are right now.
Right, I think the biggest one, mate, is a traditional graphic designer likes to sit behind a computer.
Oh yes.
Yeah, maybe peek out every so often and see what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
But that was probably the biggest shock to running your own business is yes, you have to become every department, and of course I had to go and become the salesman as well. And
how did you find that initially?
Terrifying. I was not comfortable whatsoever putting myself out there and saying buy my services.
Yeah.
I would avoid networking groups, meetings like the plague.
Yeah.
So it's been a huge character building exercise as well.
Yeah. I'd imagine it's kind of, like you said, character building. I imagine it's giving you some extra skills, some extra kind of like secret weapons that you can pull out in terms of like the character, because you've had to kind of get over that hurdle of, I don't want to speak to anybody. I've seen you run network meetings now, and I would never have, there's not a moment, I can't think of watching you not being able to do that, but obviously that was what you're saying is something you had to kind of get used to. So how did you kind of get over this, I don't want to go networking, I don't want to be talking to people, how did you kind of get over that?
Well, I think the primary motivation was that if I didn't go out and get any sales, then I wouldn't have a roof above my head.
Exactly, yeah. Amazing how
But
that focuses the mind, isn't it?
yeah. So I'm providing for my family, so it happened that way. But if you're going to grow, then you need to go out and find the people in the business.
Yeah.
And there was only one way that I could do that, and that
Yeah.
was to start shouting and talking and
Yeah.
going out and meeting people.
Yeah.
And it's just a continuous process. I don't think anybody ever can say I'm 100% complete in terms of going out and networking and getting business.
Yeah.
So I've recently just joined a speakers club.
Oh wow! Which one have you joined, mate?
It's the Wolverhampton Speakers Club. It's quite old, actually.
Oh
I think it's been going for a very long time. So yeah, I've literally just passed my first exam.
Oh, fantastic! Because I did go to Toastmasters in Telford, which I really enjoyed, and I actually went because I was doing a comedy show, a stand-up.
Yeah, I remember.
At the Glee Club, and I went to this Toastmasters because I think there's that extra kind of seal in my own mind that let me go and listen to some experts speak, see if I can kind of take something from that. And I'll be honest, it did help quite a bit, which was really good. But yeah, so I advocate anything like that. And I mean, this speaking club, can anyone join, or got to be,
there's all kinds of people there, young, old, professional, students. It's a real broad mix. So
yeah, send me some info, mate, because I can speak, man. Whether any of it makes sense, though, is another story altogether.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing is, that you've got the seasoned, experienced public speakers there that are they're like the elders. And when you go and do your evaluation, your tests, somebody will evaluate you, and if they don't think you've passed or tick the boxes, then you have to repeat the exercise.
Oh, there's nothing worse than saying the same thing over and over and over again. Oh my God, that's like French. Learning French. Bonjour, 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 bonjour. Oh, wow. So obviously, the big challenge for you was getting out there, kind of coming out of that comfort zone, which says, no, Nicholas, you will not speak to strange people. And you managed to kind of get that because of the overriding need to get this working. Were there any other challenges, once you kind of did get a bit of momentum with speaking to people?
Yeah, there was. So it's not just me in the business. There is Helen, my wife, who's another director, and we work together on it. But there was a point where we had a third member in the company as well. So we took on a junior designer, and the learning curve of managing staff.
Oh, yes.
It's vast, it's a real steep learning curve.
Yeah. It's not staff though, it's people, and that's the problem. If there was staff and they were like, you just pull them out of the box and they're already set up to do what you need them to do, that'd be simple.
Little robots.
Dealing with people, and there's not as strange as folk, no matter what the age, no matter where they're from. And so I mean, what was the kind of biggest thing you took from taking on staff that you thought, wow, well, I'll never do that again, or I'll never do this again? Or
I think the thing that, I mean, the reason why I took somebody on was so that I could go and grow the business further. So I knew that I'd be in and out of the office. I'd be out more with a different member, with a junior designer there, but I don't think I quite comprehended how much hand-holding a person of that level would need. So she was with us for about just over a year, and then she went and got a job closer to home,
right?
Because the commute was quite lengthy. But,
So does that mean that you've had to now create a process document for like people who come on board, so they can almost go step 1, step 2, step 3, or is it a case of, if someone came in, that you just go back to the beginning and start from scratch?
I think the experience of now employing somebody in a role in that sense, it would put me in a much better starting position for when we take on somebody else in the future, if that happens. But obviously, with lockdown and the uncertainty of what's going through at the moment.
Yeah.
Well, so we moved out of our office that was
Yeah.
at the Science Park, and we're coping just on our own.
Fine at home. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think you'll find a lot of businesses are looking to kind of scale back and cut that cost. There is something to be said about having an office. And the positives are literally, you are literally at the place of work. So there's no distractions. There's no garden. There's no pets. There's no kids. There's no beautiful sunshine that you can say, oh, I'll take the afternoon off. Because the office has to be paid for. But, you know, the benefits of working at home, there's no commute. You can literally sit there in just your shirt with your pajama bottoms on. No one will know.
I'm naked after the waist, mate.
Yeah. Coffee on tap. Yeah, so absolutely, mate. And I think with what we're going through now, a lot of companies will be carrying on with the work from home kind of thing, because I think what they've realised, hey, we've just saved £20,000 in rent. Ooh,
yeah,
you know what I mean? So, and that's the reality of it. So, great stuff. So, obviously, you, I would imagine, come across quite a lot of startups, newish type businesses. I imagine people come to you with ideas of, oh, Nick, you know, I was thinking of doing a business, and I mean, you know, what advice would you give somebody right now if they were looking to start a business in 2020, post? It's not even post COVID, we're still going through. But what advice would you give somebody right now who thought, yeah, I like what Nick does, I'm going to do my own business, and yeah, what advice would you give them?
Well, right from the off, it would be get your brand in order. That would be number one. Don't scrimp. Don't go to Fiverr for a cheap ass logo designer, because if you're serious about your business, and of course if you've got the budget to do it, you need to work out why you started the business in the first place, because that's the element of your story, and that's you know, you're hopefully going to carve out a niche for the audience that you're talking to, and people want to hear a story. They don't want to buy a product just because it's a product. They want to buy something because it solves a problem, or it makes them feel good, or buy a service that will eventually make them more productive or feel better about themselves. So,
and I'm glad you've said that, because you know, you've said before, you know, and I think we spoke about it before, a lot of business owners or small business owners, when you say brand to them, Nick, what do they normally think you're talking about?
Well, that they instantly think it's their logo.
I know. Hey, and you know something, mate? I'm laughing. I used to be the same. You know, I used to think, oh, your brand is your logo and your colours. But then people like yourself, Alex Lindsay, some of the other guys who I know who work quite closely around branding, then you know, no, it's a lot more than just your bloody logo. It's your message. It's the way you do things. It's the way you say things. It's how you present things. I'm like, and I think that was really powerful, because you know, I've known of small business owners who spent years, months creating this logo, thinking that that's going to be the thing that gets them all this business, and then I come along and say, ain't being funny, but you know, that logo that you spent all this time doing, think of all the things that you could have been doing instead, which would have actually been bringing money into the business. Plus, it's not a brand; it's just a logo.
I think you have to think about everything almost holistically, because you know, it's not just, I say to people, it's not about having the best logo, or it's not about having the best website. You know, if you've got the best website in the world, nobody knows it's there. What's the point? So when you start to pull in all of these factors together, so I've got this, I've got my great website, I need to start telling people about it, and then you start to form a strategy together, and you've got step-by-step guides as to what you've got to do, and then working with a proper agency or even an individual who at least knows what they're talking about to start to formulate processes and get plans in place. Then it will go leaps and bounds into actually helping our clients, and that's how we go about it.
Because I mean, I work with quite a lot of business owners, and I suppose it's really crazy, because their idea of marketing is doing one post on Facebook and sitting by the computer waiting for the phone to ring, and it's like, whoa, that ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work. So there's a lot to be said for having, like you say, that strong brand with a good message, which resonates, which talks to the people you want it to talk to. Because that's the important thing as well, isn't it, Nick? Because I imagine that you do advocate the kind of, don't try and appeal to everybody, talk to the people.
Well, I don't think you can.
You can't. Well, people try to, don't they? They say, "Oh, I work with all businesses," and it's like, well, yeah, what big businesses, medium, small, one-man band, startup, entrepreneurs, and there's so many variations of the theme. But I think obviously because of the way that you work and your learning, you're able to kind of impart that knowledge on startups who come to you, and I suppose they always leave you, whether they use you or not, they always leave you richer for the information and knowledge that you've shared with them than if they had talked to you to begin with. So,
yeah, we try and give clients the tools to go forth and do what we've created for them themselves, because nobody's got an infinite budget.
No.
And it's important that because we want them to carry on doing what in the style that we've created for them, and keep pushing out the messages that we identified for them. And it is sometimes sad to see people who've spent a lot of money to create a brand, and then 3 or 4 weeks later they've started just completely ignoring all of the advice that
creating their own logo and thinking, no, I'll use this instead. And it's like, well, you've just spent how much on that beautiful presented logo with your choice of font, your choice of color, and now you go and I'm not going to swear, but the word begins with B and ends in "ized." The work that someone has put together for you based on what was going to work. It's like, why would you do that? I think what happens is they're impatient, aren't they? They're impatient for success. It's like, oh, my phone's not ringing. Let me do something different today. And it's like, no, just be consistent. The results will come. But do you tend to go back to your clients when you see that they've kind of started be-ized your, the stuff that you've created for them? You tell them off. You say, hey, what's going on?
Yeah, I think you've got to really, because if bless them, they're telling the world that you've created this wonderful brand, and then they start putting their own stuff out there, not listening to the guidance that you've given, and it just starts to look a bit.
What you should do, mate, I've got an idea for you. In your contract, your pre-contract, put a caveat in that if you go away from what we've created within the first 12 months, you owe us an additional £500. And when they say why, say because if you think about it, we're providing you with a high quality look, feel message. As soon as you go away from that, that almost implies that that's part of us, and it ain't. So to save anyone coming back and saying, "Oh, Nick, I ain't doing that," we'll bill you for £500 if you go away from what we've created for you. It might work. You might offend some people. But I'll tell you what.
Well, thankfully, it doesn't happen very often.
It will keep them focused. Oh, what was it Nick said? We better go with that. Oh, anything's worth a try, man. Anything's worth a try. So basically, Nick, what you're saying is get your brand in order. If the budget allows, speak to the people who are going to help you create what I call a forever brand, not a fly-by-night. I've had clients on the social media management side who've come to me with a, what's that company that you can get free business cards for? Vista Print logo, and they've said to me that they want to use it. And then when I've said to them that you can't use that, and they've gone, but I like my logo. And I said, that's not actually a logo. That's just a line drawing which has been coloured in. And they're like, but I'm like, I'll tell you what, go back to Vista Print and ask them to send you that logo by itself at a high resolution. Well, how do you do that? I said, you don't. What you do is you create a proper logo. But yeah, if they've got the budget, absolutely, I'd always recommend that someone come and speak to yourself like that if the budget allows, because I know that you can do the brand, you can do the website, you can do the kind of setup of all the digital. So at least that when they leave you, they're on the right path to success rather than kind of guessing, what do I do next? Which people value. People will value. Okay, let's see if we've got any comments coming. I think there's been a bit of a technical hitch today, sir, because obviously we've been networking already this morning, and I didn't do my my little kind of intro for what was going to be happening. So I do apologise, guys, that I haven't let you know about Nick on today. But obviously you can watch the replay. If you do watch the replay, put in replay, and I will send you a special a special prize, a free prize from Love Sales, Hate Selling, because we like to give away free. Nick, is there anything that you know, the group, the Love Sales, Hate Selling Facebook group, or the followers can do for you right now to help the business? Is there anything that you're looking for to help you kind of, you know, is there anything that we can do?
Probably at the moment, I would literally just say like us on the social media platforms, you know, follow us, ask us questions, engage with our content. That's...
I know you've got a couple of groups, and I also know you do a podcast as well. So the one thing I'd love you to do, if you can, was when we finished, drop back onto the page, go to the video, and drop everything in there, mate. I want web links, I want bloody social media links. If you've got any lead magnets, I want that in there. If you've got any training that helps people, put that in there. Your podcast, the group, the lot. You know, at the end of the day, if you can make sure that when people are ready to speak to you or they want to become part of your circle, that they're able to do that easily enough, and that, you know, hopefully that'll stand you in good stead. But mate, it's been a pleasure. God, it's actually been almost 26 minutes. It felt like 5. I was like, oh, surely we haven't been speaking that long. And I've looked at my little timer. 26.5 minutes. Good grief. But that's been fantastic, mate. Thank you so much for coming on today. What I am going to be...
I've enjoyed it.
Oh, good stuff, mate. What I'm going to be doing next year... sorry, not next year. What I'm going to be doing is everyone who's had an interview will be invited to come back and do another one 6 months, 9 months, just to kind of take a snapshot. Because obviously a lot happens in 6 to 9 months. And it'd be nice to kind of go back to some of these business owners and say, hey, what's changed? What's happening? What's new? What have you got launched? And it just keeps it nice and fresh. And it means that you've always got at least one day a week, a year, where you've got someone who's going to interview you rather than you doing it to them.
Yeah, there is that.
Excellent. Well, sir, thank you so much for today. Members, as I say, if you watch this on replay, if you put hashtag replay in the replay, and I shall send you a special prize, a free prize from Love Sales, Hate Selling. I do have lots of old mouldy socks that I need to get rid of, so hey, who knows? Could be.
That sounds like a Halloween prize, mate.
Hey, mate, listen, it's a great way to keep people away from your house. So, don't knock it. Guys, thanks for joining us today. Nick, thank you so much. Don't go anywhere. So we'll have a little debrief. And guys, if you want to get in touch with Nick, he's going to drop all of his links and his comments and his groups and his courses and everything will be in the comments. And please, please, please go and check him out. He's a good guy. He knows his stuff. I know. I've worked with him. We've worked together within the networking environment, so I know that he's a thorough professional who, you know, the quality of his work is more important to him than eating. So, you know, this guy will make sure you have the best of the best of the best representation if he gets involved with creating that brand for you. So, guys, get in touch with Nick. Nick, don't go anywhere, sir. I'm just going to stop this feed. See you later, people. See you later. Oh, and by the way, Addison, thank you for joining us. I do apologise that you weren't alerted. I'm going to blame Facebook, but it's probably my fault. Normal service will be resumed next week. It's just been one of them crazy mornings today. Guys, see you all later. Nick, don't go anywhere.